Good morning, everybody. It's Peter Kama. It is Saturday. I don't even know what time it is, guys. It's 7:30 in the morning. I'm out here on my back deck enjoying a cup of coffee and sitting here thinking about the fact that we couldn't get Coffee Talk in yesterday, and I promised you a Coffee Talk. And I thought, what better time to do that than right now? So wanted to go ahead, and this is going to be an abbreviated version, but it's going to be one that's full of good information, right? It's going to be full of information for you to kind of figure out what's going on in your hometown. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about the fact that if you don't know what's happening in your town and you're not attending or watching online town council meetings and or planning board meetings and those kind of things, then find somebody that's involved in those kind of things. Somebody like me, for example, somebody who watches these things, somebody who's involved in the government, and really stay in tune with what's happening in your community. A friend of mine, David Colgan, posted yesterday something about, local elections matter. I believe national elections matter too, but local elections really matter. They're considering a considerable rate hike to your tax rate in Raleigh, for example. All right, so that being said, let's talk a little bit about what happened at the planning board meeting this past week here in Wake Forest. Kip Padgett, the town manager, proposed his new budget, and there were a lot of interesting things in that. The most interesting thing was that he did not propose a rate hike at all. He didn't have to. Here's why. The reality of it is, guys, we're booming. In terms of population, we are absolutely booming right now. The combined tax base between Wake County and Franklin County combined is about $5.2 billion. I think we're doing okay. So any idea of a tax rate increase right now with the population increases we're having really ought to be fought in my mind. Now, I'm not trying to make this political, but the reality of it is I love that Kip came to the table. Now, were there cuts? Were there some tough decisions for him to have to make in this proposal? Absolutely there were. Absolutely there were. So let's talk about population for a second. I want to give you a little history about the town of Wake Forest population-wise. So in 1980, there were 3,700 people in the town of Wake Forest, 3,780 to be exact. In 1990, 5,800 people in the town of Wake Forest. In 2000, 12,600 people in the town of Wake Forest, 12,600. That's about the time I got here, a little bit just after that. In 2010, just 9 years ago, we had 30,000 people in the town of Wake Forest. So this past Tuesday, they announced that there are 45,000 people in the town of Wake Forest now. Now, when I got here in 2002, was the town wonderful? Was it easy to get around? Yes, it was great. Did it have all the amenities it has right now? No, not at all. And boy, wait till you hear about some of the amenities coming I'm about to share with you. So we can complain about traffic, we can complain about growth, but the reality of it is we can't fault other people for wanting to come enjoy what we get to enjoy. And for those of you that moved here from other places and complain about the new people coming here, that's a tough one for me to swallow, right? That's a difficult one. It's a great town, and I completely understand why so many others want to be here. So, oh, hey, good morning, Frank. All right, so what else? Holding Park Aquatic Center is getting ready to open at the end of this month. Guys, for those people who don't live in a community that has a pool, or you don't have a pool in your own backyard, and for our kids that are in need in this town, what a great opportunity. What a beautiful new aquatic center down there at Holding Park. If you haven't seen it, drive by. It's just about to bust open, and that place will be full, and just you'll hear all sorts of laughter and kids playing, which truly is, to me, the spice of life. The new community center at Joyner Park, if you have not driven by the new community center at Joyner Park, and if you play basketball or you do anything with the town of Wake Forest, go see it, guys. It is beautiful. It is going to be a wonderful amenity for this town. And quite frankly, if you're not spending time at Joyner Park, go do that too. The Northern Wake Senior Center, as you know, has gone under a recent remodel by our friends with Focus Design Builders. Shout out to you, Focus. And the Wake Forest Library, as you know, recently has opened. So a lot of really cool things either being built and or being remodeled. So I got one mosquito that just won't leave me alone. The town also has some very difficult things that they're facing decision-wise. So let's talk about one of those, and that is, I don't know if you realize this, but our fire department is not part of the town of Wake Forest. Yeah, we refer to it as the town of Wake Forest Fire Department, but it is an independent fire department. Now, they've requested to be a part of the town, and quite frankly, the town does help support them financially. They do a lot of their own fundraising and what have you, but they are now asking to become part of our municipality, more of a traditional model, if you will. So there's a big decision for the town, because financially that is a commitment at that point in time. Taking over the Smith Creek Reservoir. So Smith Creek Reservoir is a backup water facility for the city of Raleigh. City of Raleigh right now maintains and owns that, and that is going to be handed back to the town of Wake Forest. Is that a good thing? Well, on the surface, it sounds like a good thing because you can take canoe. They're going to sell it as an amenity. You can take canoes out there, any non-motorized craft out onto the reservoir. You can fish it, those kind of things. So yes, the town of Wake Forest can use it as an amenity. The dam was built, I think, in either 1954 or 1964. And you know what happens to dams? They need repair. Are we taking it back over as a town at the wrong time? Time will tell. Time will tell. You know, there were 20 positions. So the town of Wake Forest requested 20 new positions be added to government. And the Kip Padgett in his budget only provided for 6. And so when we talked about earlier that he didn't have a tax rate increase, he's just being really wise with what they're adding. So in recent years, we've added a lot of people to our police department to compensate for the growth of our town, things of that nature. But what a great stand by him to go ahead and make sure that we're spending our money wisely. If you couldn't tell, I'm a huge fan of Kip Padgett and quite frankly, all of our board of commissioners right now. Let's see, what else? Oh, some projects that are under consideration. For somebody like me, my dog Ozzy's out here right now with me on the porch. The dog park in Wake Forest over by Flaherty Park right now. To me, it's not very good. There's not a lot of shade. B, it's just a big muddy field. I've not had good experiences there. Those of you that know Ozzy and I, he has not had good experiences there. I don't know what the upgrades they're considering doing over there, but the fact that they're even considering doing some upgrades there would be great. So I think that's a really nice addition to the town of Wake Forest. They're going to be paving the town-owned lot over at East Jones and Wade Avenue. It actually fronts Wade Avenue. Parking downtown continues to become an issue as downtown continues to become much more cool. And I've got a couple of rumors in the rumor mill that I want to share with you about that. And then this is probably the biggest one. So listen carefully. The town of Wake Forest, in partnership with the seminary owns a bunch of land, about 200 acres between Patterson Hall and you know where the Lowe's Food Shopping Center is on Capitol? I forget the name of that shopping center, but between there's about 200 acres that stretch all the way up a good ways towards Route 98. So check this out. They are intending to make that a high-tech business park, live, work, play center. They intend to attract small businesses in the high-tech world, to bring more jobs to the town of Wake Forest, because as you know, we're so heavily weighted towards residential tax base. What a really, really cool opportunity for our town to make a niche for itself in the high-tech world. We've done that already with a few companies. This would bring high-paying, high-tech jobs to the area to support some of the retail opportunities that continue to come into the town of Wake Forest. So I thought that was really, really cool. One thing that did happen at the planning board meeting was there was I believe it was 300 apartments and 90 townhomes were proposed. It's 2 different projects, but nearly on the same piece of land. You know where the old, on Wake Union Church Road, over by the old food line, that stretch there. They're building, right now they're building a storage facility there. So 90 townhomes and 300 plus apartments. The mosquitoes are bad this morning. Were both denied for a variety of reasons. They're right behind St. Ives subdivision. So those were denied by the planning board. So for those people in this town that continue to just throw, hot stakes and arrows at our planning board denied those 2 projects for a second time. So just an update there. Oh, I know the town of Wake Forest has a couple of other really cool projects going on. One of those, and this isn't a town of Wake Forest project, but in downtown Wake Forest, those longtime residents that may remember La Foresta, as I understand it, is under contract, and La Foresta is being sold and going to become a brew pub. So we'll have White Street Brewing, which if you haven't been to White Street Brewing, go over and have a pint over there. It's well worth your time. But I understand this could be more of a brew pub concept. Downtown Wake Forest continues to change. The face of downtown Wake Forest continues to change. The old standbys of Wayfo Cocoa, the Wake Forest Coffee Company, they do a great job. Of course, White Street Brewing Company and places like that, Over the Falls and a few others. They're doing a great job. But there's a new tonic. There's Bodega. We've got this new brew pub coming. For those of you, and maybe I know more about beer than I should, but those of you that enjoy a cold beer, I understand Lone Rider's opening some sort of a brewery over at the factory. And that's going to be where the old go-kart place used to be there at the factory. So some of these are rumors at this point in time. Some of them are a little more substantiated rumors, but really, really cool stuff coming. If you haven't heard, Chick-fil-A is going to be built over there by Heritage High School. What that's going to do to Forestville Road in terms of traffic in the mornings, noontime, and evenings, I don't know. It's already quite a navigational nightmare. But if there's a Chick-fil-A coming, they must see good reason for it. So across the street from the high school over there, I can tell you there are 2 parcels of land directly across the street from the high school that are going to be turned into retail opportunities. One gentleman who happens to own a car care repair place, a very popular chain, has purchased the land directly across from the entrance to the high school. And if you were going to wrap around to the football field, that entrance. And he's got a 30,000 square foot retail building plan for that location. And he has 2 or 3 out parcels. And then right next door to that, another local resident has purchased that land and is right now, if you go over there, you'll see dirt is being moved. So just a few updates about your town and what's happening there. I did have some things to share with you, that I jotted down in terms of numbers that I thought would be interesting to you. So let's look at the market in general. So right now there's about 2.3 months worth of inventory in our market right now. That's still pretty low. It's spring market. For those of you that think that 2019 spring market is a little softer than 2018, go back and take a look at the numbers. I'll give you an example. I was looking at the town of Apex yesterday. The town of Apex actually is 16% higher in terms of closings through May 10th of 2019 than it was in 2018. Take a real good close look at the numbers. Don't just feel the market. Look at the numbers, get the facts, and take a real good hard look. So currently there's 15,000 homes that are active in the market, that are either active or under contract in the market right now as an entire market. One number I thought was really interesting. For the first time ever, at least in the records that I have kept, we have a rolling 12-month window looking at the number of closings. And we are 40,079 closings in a rolling 12-month window right now. Guys, typically we've been averaging between 36 and 39,000 sales a year. This is a 40,000 number. The market is really, really good. I attribute a lot of that to our new home builders. Thank goodness that our builders and not only the nationals, but our locals and our regionals, they continue to invest money into our communities and give us good quality construction in places where people live at all price points, right? Yes, we're a little bit lower when it comes to affordable housing. I know there's a lot of talk and a lot of work being put towards that, getting homes built under $250,000. I know a lot of that's happening right now. I'm involved in some of that and can't wait to share that with you as those details become a little more firm. But the numbers are the numbers, guys. The market is doing really, really well. Are there indications right now that a shift is starting to happen? Yeah, there's some indications, no doubt about it. And are all price points flying off the shelves? No, because there's a lot of competition. If you're above $350,000 in Wake County, guys, there is competition, right? So if you're above $350,000, the new construction is certainly, in terms of a resale market, is certainly impacting you. Please, please know that. So let's look at some towns. Let's look at Apex. Apex right now, 517 active, 508 pending, and they've closed 2,300 homes in the last year. That's about a little bit over, around 2.5 months worth of inventory. Holly Springs, similar numbers, 236 houses active, 216 pending. They've closed 1,052 in the past 12 months. Hey, if you guys haven't seen them, there's my bud. There's my bud. Let's see here. Wake Forest, town of Wake Forest, 507. Now, here's the anomaly, right? Wake Forest, 507 active, 381 under contract, 1,969 closed in the past 12 months. But here's the thing about Wake Forest. They're the only municipality that I can find locally of any substance. I'm not talking about, not that there's anything wrong with Zebulon and Wendell. They just don't do a lot of volume. So any municipality that's actually doing some volume, they're over 3 months worth of inventory. Builders bought a lot of property here, guys, and not all builder inventory is in the system. So let's think about that for a second. It says 3 months. We're probably closer to 4, maybe pushing 5 months worth of inventory, be my guess. And then finally, the city of Raleigh, 1,337 homes active, 1,480 under contract, and 8,947 closed in the past 12 months. So those are your real estate updates this week in regards to what's happening in your town. Good morning, Jen. The other thing I want to share with you is a little more personal. So our boys this weekend are playing in a basketball tournament. I posted something on our baseball Facebook page early this morning, a picture of 3 of our baseball players playing in a basketball tournament. And you know, as the kids become more competitive and they play travel ball, one of the big challenges as a guy who's coached and as a dad is kids to play multiple sports. It's hard to run a practice when you don't have your players there. And so we've been coaching this baseball team now for about 3 years. And in football season, I won't lie, it's tough. It's really tough in football season because we've got a couple of kids who play football. And if that's their priority, that's their priority. And I get that. Now, I know some coaches take a hardline stance that by the age of 12, you're either going to play football, you're going to play baseball, you're going to play basketball, whatever that is. Guys, let's not forget, these guys are 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, right? Focus on that last word. They're kids. If they want to play football, let them play football. If they want to play football and baseball, let them play football and baseball. If they want to play basketball, and figure it out. We as adults focus so much on the winning part and not about the kid part that I encourage you to talk to your coaches about the fact that if your kid wants to play multiple sports and you can afford it, because that's the biggest challenge in most families, if you can afford it both financially and time-wise, let him do it. Let him do that. I'm so proud of the fact that Camden plays both baseball and basketball right now. And he's able to do that. He's doing a great job with his grades, his chores, and otherwise. And as long as he does his stuff and the things that he's responsible for, my wife and I are going to encourage him to do whatever it is he wants to do. If he wants to be in the drama club, whatever he wants to do with his time, as long as he does his work, he can do that. So if your kid isn't playing multiple sports, isn't involved in multiple things, but wants to be, I'd encourage you to go ahead and let them. That's it for me this week. We're back on the hard court all day today. We got games for both boys all over the city. I'll report back to you sometime next week with some updates. You guys take care. Oh, by the way, for those of you that watched last week while we were in Charleston, we went 3-1. We played in the championship game. Didn't quite go the way we wanted to. You can imagine the one was that championship game. Didn't quite go the way we had wanted to, but what a beautiful weekend and a great city. And we're so grateful for that city to welcome us the way they did. Anyhow, have a great week, and I'll see you next week.